Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're checking out a video where a Mexican who relocated to Sweden talks about her culture shocks. You guys, let's check it out.
Hi friends! In today's video, I want to share with you something super interesting, which is my biggest culture shocks as a Mexican living in Sweden. Sweden has definitely surprised me in ways I never expected. So if you're interested, then just have a coffee or a tea and let's dive in. If you're new here, I'm Mariana and I have living in Sweden for almost 7 years. Pet friendly. Sweden is very pet friendly in comparison to Mexico. In here, you can see pet friendly cafes, restaurants, and even you can take your dog to your office in some cases. What was surprising to me is that you cannot leave your dog at home alone. So if you're working and you have a dog, then you need to pay for daycare for your dog, because a dog cannot be at home for more than 3 hours alone. You have to be there to take him out for a walk so a dog can pee or poop every 3 hours. So you cannot just leave your home alone all day while you're working. If you're working from home, yes, but if not, then you need to pay for daycare. Another thing also related to animals is that, for example, in Mexico we use pet names as cinnamon, cookie, taquito, things like that. But here in Sweden they have real people's names. So you can go on a walk and then you see someone with a dog, and when they're calling the dog, it's like Eric or Peter. So they have very real names. It was a little bit uncomfortable for me when I was...
Yeah, same here in Nigeria. We don't just go about giving dogs people's names. Like there was a time I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw an American who is my friend on Instagram. Like she was wishing her dog a happy birthday and she was like, "Happy birthday, Daisy." And I'm like, wow. I found that kind of really weird because my daughter's name is Daisy. And I'm like, of all the names, you didn't find any other name to give other than Daisy, my sweet girl's name, a dog's name. And I'm like, wow. For someone who even doesn't like dogs or pets, I kind of frowned at that and I was like, okay, that's her choice.
Walking with my son, and then we saw a guy with this very cute dog, and my son wanted to see the dog, so we were just staring at him, and he was like, the guy said like, do you want to touch the dog? And we said like, yeah, okay. And he's like, his name is Emmy, same as my son. So it was a little bit uncomfortable situation.
Can imagine.
I felt a little bit weird, but I think it's a good sign that the Swedish people really see their pets, their dogs, as part of the family. I think it's very cute.
FICA.
FICA, I think, is one of my favorite Swedish traditions. Even if I don't drink coffee, I think FICA in Sweden is like a must. What is FICA? It's not just a coffee break. It's a coffee break with some pastries, cookies, something sweet, but it's more for bonding. So you use FICA in your everyday. You can have FICA multiple times a day. But when you're working, for example, you use FICA to bond with your colleagues. In Mexico, some people like coffee, and you use that to say hello to your colleagues, but not as a bonding experience, and we don't have a word for it. It's just like, do you want a coffee or do you want tea? But here in Sweden, they have a word for it, so it's FICA. So if you're in Sweden or working in Sweden and someone invites you for FICA, then you have to accept, because it's a tradition. So it's very good for bonding, especially at work. This was also very surprising for me, because in Mexico we eat candy and kids eat candy every day. So we don't have like an hour or a day to eat candy. You can just go and buy candy whenever you want. Here in Sweden, you can also eat candy whenever you want. But there is a tradition that's called lördagsgodis, sorry my pronunciation, and that means Saturday candy. So all the kids, or most of the people, most of families with kids, they know that on Saturdays they will eat candy. So they are used to that tradition. So every Saturday they go, or they can go on Friday night, but they know that they will eat them on Saturday, and then Saturday you will just eat the candy. Also, one of the things that surprised me as well is that they have always full of candy. It's not just one individual package.
Wow, look at all these candies. Wow.
Kilo, by half a
Wow.
kilo.
So many of them.
That's a lot of candy. Birthday celebrations at work. Now, in Mexico, we celebrate someone's birthday at work. We gather some money, we ask for like cooperation, like, this person will have a birthday coming soon, then everybody tips in a little bit. With that money, then you buy some cake, some nice card, I don't know, some drinks, or it depends on what the person likes. But that means that everybody on the team, and maybe a few from other departments, if that person is very social, then everybody tips in and buys you a cake. In Sweden, you don't do that. In Sweden, everybody is responsible for bringing their own cake. So
Same here.
People, they will not care if it's your birthday or not, at work at least, if you don't say anything, because they will not keep track of it. Probably they will, and they will just say like, happy birthday, but it's not their responsibility. So the responsibility is yours to bring your own cake.
Exactly. Even here in Nigeria, if you're celebrating your birthday, people expect that you, who is the celebrant, should bring your cake and then even share it to them. Do you get? Nobody is going to get you birthday cake except if you're really a nice person and people love you so much, like bosses in the like some friendly bosses in offices where their subordinates will really like to please them and then win their hearts. They can go all the way and get cakes for them. Otherwise, you who is the celebrant to get your own cake and then bring to the office or wherever to celebrate your birthday. Like, you could be celebrating your birthday and people will be like, where's my birthday cake? Where's my birthday cake? Like, they expect you to bring your birthday cake so they can eat from it. So nobody's going to get you a birthday cake most times, except on few occasions.
And it usually has to be something that you baked yourself. It can be also that you just buy some nice cake or some cookies or some cheesecake and you want to share with them. But it's very common and very nice if you bake it yourself and then you say like, hi, today is my birthday and I brought some cake for everyone. And then FICA starts. I think it's a really good tradition. I like to bake. So I'm very happy when it's my birthday and I have to bake my own cake. But it feels a little bit weird. This is very shocking for me, and even if I have been living here for almost 7 years, it doesn't feel right. So in Sweden,
I can relate.
Everybody called everybody by their first names. In Mexico, we are used to see a sign of respect that you call people, older people mostly, by their last name, or you call them by, señor, señora, miss, Mr., Mrs., and that shows respect. In Sweden, however, you call everyone by their first name. So even if it's your manager, even if it's the CEO of the company, even if it's, your 95-year-old neighbor, you are calling them by the first name. So if you want to call someone, then you will do first name always. Whatever the age, a 5-year-old kid can call his teacher, instead of Miss Monica, it will be Monica. And that is a little bit weird for me. Not in school or at work. I think at work I already got used to it. But it's weird in my personal life. I feel weird talking to my husband's parents, for example, by their first name. I want to show them respect by telling them Miss or Mr. I feel weird to call my husband's grandmother by her name. So what I do usually I try to make eye contact and then a direct question to that person, or the comment that I have to do, so I don't have to call them by their first name. If I have to, I will do it, but it feels very weird for me as a Mexican to do that. That was all for today. Let me know what do you think, and if you have experienced something like this wherever you live. I hope you like this video, and if you do, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And see you next time. Thank you.
I really love this video because I could relate with her in so many things, even though I've not been to Sweden, but then the culture shock she talked about first names, like it's really weird. I watch a lot of Mexican movies, I watch a lot of American movies, and I see where the Americans are so used to calling everyone, no matter how old, by their first name. And it's so weird to me because, especially because I come from a country where we are so keen on respect, like we're so big on this respect thing. Do you get? Like, you don't just see an elderly person, somebody older than you, and call the person by the person's first name. You can never see that in Nigeria. Like, it would be so weird. The way the person will look at you, you just give yourself some sense. Like, you can't call somebody who is old enough to be your mother or your father or your auntie or uncle by their names. Most times in Nigeria, I know it's not right, but that's what we are used to. Somebody of my mom's age, I can't just go and call the person Mrs. this or that. I don't even care to know your name. I'll just go like, mommy. I call you mommy, just to give that respect. Or somebody who is old enough, older than me, even if you're not old enough to be my mom, I'll just address you as auntie. That's what we are used to here in Nigeria. So calling elderly people by their first name is really, really weird. And I know it's going to be some serious culture shocks for me when I find myself in most of these European countries, because it's going to be really weird. I see a lot of that in movies that I watch, but then I just tell myself, okay, that's in the movies. But then I have relatives who have relocated abroad, and they say, yeah, it's actually real, it's happening. So yeah, I could relate to this lady because it's weird. I can't call people who are older than me by their first name. It's just so weird. I can't help it. That's how I was raised. That's how we're raised in Nigeria. We are so big on this respect thing. I know not calling somebody by their first name, I know it's not entirely a sign of being respectful or not being respectful, but then that's that's how we're taught in Nigeria. That's how we're brought up. So we got used to it, like not calling people who are older than us by their first names. Yeah, I enjoyed this video and I love the smile on her face. I loved watching her talk. It was so interesting. I hope you did too. If you enjoyed the video, the link to the original video is in my description. You might want to give her all your support. Head on to her channel and give her all your support. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time. Bye.